Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Aksa Sati. I'm a marketing executive at ACCA Pakistan. It is so good to have you all on board today. आज हमारा 7 digits की एक launch ceremony है. Basically कोई भी अच्छी movie होती है, कोई भी अच्छा show होता है, book होती है, उसका part 2 आना बहुत बहुत ज़रूरी होता है, and you know it has to outdo the first part. So that is what we're trying to do with 7 digits program. आज का हमारा सेशन आपको हमारे पैनल में कुछ फेमिलियर फेसेस और कुछ रिनोन्ड फेसेस नजर आ रहे होंगे, कुछ ऐसे फेसेस नजर आ रहे होंगे जो आपको 6 डिजिट्स में भी नजर आ रहे थे, लेकिन जस्ट टू गिव यू ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शंस ऑफ एवरीवन, वी हैव सजीद असलम हु इज द हेड ऑफ ACCA Pakistan, we have Harun Ahmed Jan, regional head of member affairs. We have two of our very esteemed members. We have Asad Ali Sharif, who has been with Standard Chartered Bank for years now, and he is a very, very well-known face in the finance sector of Pakistan. We have Mehwish Iqbal, who is a finance business partner for Unilever, and we have Shahid Khan, who is the head of business development for our central region in ACCA Pakistan. Along with the panelists that you see today, we have our approved employers, we have our learning partners, we have our university partners in the audience, in the panel as well, who are here to answer any question that you may have, who are here to provide guidance, जो कि इस जर्नी में आपको मिलती रहेगी eventually. So this is how we're kicking off the 7 digits launch. This is how we're kicking off the 7 digits program hamara, and we're really excited to have everyone on board, and let's hope that we have make the significant changes जो हमने 6 digits में किए थे उससे भी बड़े और उससे भी ज़्यादा significant changes हम लोग each and every individual member की ज़िंदगी में ला सकें. Over to you, Sajid, for your guidance, insight, and welcome note for this session.
Thank you, Aksa. I think आपने बड़े अच्छे तरीके से इसको brief किया. So just start with my introduction. My name is Sajid Aslam. I am head of ACCA Pakistan. जब last time हम discussion कर रहे थे 6 digits की, 7 digits की, so these are the reference numbers and these are the aspirations which we want people to have. और इस aspiration के पीछे हमारे पास employer side से और client side से भी even there's a lot of confidence that if people reach to a certain and if they start delivering certain values, these are the type of numbers they can earn. And उसमें हमने 6 digit पे भी एक success देखी, हारून आपको उसको ज्यादा डिटेल में बता सकेंगे. But then we came up, okay, अभी हमारे पास 6 digit program जो कि बहुत young members के लिए है with a 1 year or less than 2 year experience or somebody who is right now in a process of membership. So उसको जरा early stage पे perspective develop करने में help करता है ये कि when they will become members, so what kind of aspirations they should have in terms of earning, but against those earning, what kind of value they are supposed to deliver. And this 7 digit program, when we are talking about the launch of 7 digit program, so we are talking about senior members, वो लोग जो कि already 250,000, 300,000 की benchmark को cross कर चुके हुए हैं, now they are on their next mark or next milestone कि वो minimum जो है, how they can get to the journey of a ₹1 million earning as a reference point. What does it take? Employer क्या देखता है, client क्या देखता है जब उसने किसी भी किस्म की एक वैल्यू पुट करनी होती है आपकी सर्विसेज पे, या हाउ दे रियली वैल्यू योर ब्रांड, योर पर्सनल ब्रांड एज अ इंडिविजुअल, एज अ ACCA मेंबर, वो आपको किस तरह देख रहे होते हैं विद दैट काइंड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, और आपकी उस जर्नी में क्या चीजें नजर आती हैं. जिंदगी के लिए बहुत जरूरी होता है कि वी डेवलप सम पर्सपेक्टिव एंड वी डेवलप ऑप्टिमिज्म एंड वी पुट सम गोल्स अराउंड कि हमने कहाँ जाना है, किस डायरेक्शन में जाना है. जब तक हम डायरेक्शन नहीं सेट करेंगे हमारी जर्नी में, हमें नहीं पता चलेगा कि हम कुछ अचीव कर रहे हैं नहीं कर रहे. जब तक हम बेंचमार्क्स नहीं बनाएंगे तब तक हमें ये नहीं पता चलेगा कि हमने किस हद तक प्रोग्रेस की है. और लाइफ में प्रोग्रेस जो है वो मेजरेबल चाहिए होती है आपको, और उसकी मेजर कुछ भी हो सकता है. 7 digits अगेन अ रेफरेंस नंबर. आई एम श्योर देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु वुड लाइक टू हैव अ मोर स्पिरिचुअल गेन रादर देन द मटेरियल गेन, बट हम जब इन प्रोग्राम्स के नाम रखते हैं तो हम कोशिश करते हैं कि उसका जो रेफरेंस पॉइंट या एस्पिरेशंस डेवलप हो वो हर एक के लिए अंडरस्टैंडेबल और रिलेटेबल हो. सो इस प्रोग्राम के हवाले से जब हम बात कर रहे हैं तो दुनिया में एक बहुत बड़ी चेंज आई है. कोविड इज अ वन, बट अगर हम कोविड से पहले भी चले जाएं तो वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम ने भी डिजिटल को एक बहुत बड़ी चेंज कंसिडर किया था, जिसमें सडनली जो ओवर 3 बिलियन एग्जिस्टिंग वर्कफोर्स है उसकी रेलेवेंस क्वेश्चन मार्क हो गई थी। और 2030 तक वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम ने कमिट किया था कि दे विल रीस्किल एंड अपस्किल 1 बिलियन ऑफ एग्जिस्टिंग वर्कफोर्स टू स्टे रेलिवेंट, ताकि वो जॉब ना लूज करें, एंड देन दे विल हैव अ एक्सपोनेंशियल चेंजेस गोइंग फॉरवर्ड। एंड द एक्सपोनेंशियल इज वन ऑफ अ की वर्ड जो आज हम बहुत ज्यादा इस्तेमाल कर रहे होंगे, क्योंकि लीनियर प्रोग्रेशन से दुनिया बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हो गई है एक्सपोनेंशियल प्रोग्रेशन की साइड पे, और उसको अंडरस्टैंड करना जरूरी है, और उसके बाद फिर रिव्यू करना जरूरी है कि आपकी अपनी एस्पिरेशंस क्या हैं, हाउ वी कैन वर्क टुगेदर कि हम उस डिजायर्ड लाइफस्टाइल तक पहुंच सकें। और उसके लिए क्या स्टेप्स हो सकते हैं, उसके लिए आपके पास एक्सपीरियंस्ड मेंबर्स भी अवेलेबल है जो कुछ गाइडेंस दे सकते हैं। इसी तरह हमारे पास ACCA के रिसोर्सेज हैं, और इसके अलावा बहुत से रिसोर्सेज हमारे पास हमारी पार्टनरशिप्स की फॉर्म में अवेलेबल होते हैं, जहां पे यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, हमारे लर्निंग प्रोवाइडर्स हैं, एम्प्लॉयर्स हैं, वो एक सर्टेन फीडबैक दे रहे होते हैं। और वो सारी चीजें जो हैं वो आपको अपना कैरियर प्लान करने के लिए, अपनी प्रोग्रेशन प्लान करने के लिए दे कैन हेल्प यू आउट। सो लेट्स सी कि अभी जो हमारे पास इमीडिएट चेंजेस जो हमने रिसेंट पास्ट में देखी हैं, हाउ इट्स रियली रिफ्लेक्टिंग ऑन द वर्ल्ड। एक तो इकोनॉमी से चीजें मूव की हैं एक्सोनॉमी की साइड पे। एक्सोनॉमी इज द रेफरेंस पॉइंट जो कि एक्सपोनेंशियल चेंज इन द इकोनॉमी को रेफर करता है। अगर हम ओवरऑल इकोनॉमी को, ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी को देखें, एंड वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट समवेयर लाइक 80 ट्रिलियन प्लस, सो उसकी कॉम्पोजिशन को अगर आप देखेंगे तो आपको नजर आएगा कि उसमें से कुछ सेक्टर्स हैं जो एक्सपोनेंशियली ग्रो किए हैं, और कुछ सेक्टर्स हैं जो कि टोटली खत्म हो गए हैं। ऑल्दो एब्सोल्यूट अमाउंट में अगर आप देख रहे होंगे तो आपको शायद 80 ट्रिलियन की जो ग्रोथ है वो उस तरह नजर नहीं आ रही हो, लेकिन जब आप सब सेक्टर्स में देखेंगे तो यू विल सी कि उसमें से कुछ ऐसे सेक्टर्स थे जो आज एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं कर रहे, और कुछ ऐसे नए सेक्टर्स हैं जो पिछले 5 साल में आए थे, और उनका कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन उस ओवरऑल ग्लोबल GDP के बहुत ज्यादा डेवलप हो गया, एंड वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट। सो अगर हम की ड्राइवर्स देखें जिसने आके ओवरऑल इकोनॉमीज को, सोसाइटीज को डिसरप्ट किया है, तो उसमें डाटा डेफिनेटली वेरी नोन वन, IoT, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स की बात कर लें, AI की बात कर लें, कनेक्टेड डिवाइसेस एंड पीपल, दैट्स वन ऑफ अ की ड्राइविंग फैक्टर। डिजिटल करेंसी की बात होती है, ब्लॉकचेन है, 3D प्रिंटर है, ऑगमेंटेड रियलिटी है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड एनर्जी है, मैं अपने घर की छत पे सोलर पैनल लगा सकता हूँ एंड आई कैन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट दैट। स्मार्ट क्लोथिंग है विच कैन रियली गेज आपके ओवरऑल इमोशंस को, आपके इवन हेल्थ केयर के हवाले से वो प्रिवेंटिव मेजर्स या अलार्म्स जनरेट कर सकते हैं। पर्सनल ड्रोन्स हैं इस वक्त जो आपको दुनिया में नजर आएंगे, सेल्फ ड्राइविंग कार्स नजर आएंगे आपको, वर्टिकल फार्मिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट मिलेगा, हेल्थ केयर तो ऑल टुगेदर इस वक्त टोटली जो है अगर हम उसको देखें तो उसकी एक नई शेप आ गई, हम रेनोवेशन हो चुकी है उसमें ओवरऑल। और एक चीज जो क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग है, जिसको जो बेसिकली इन सब चीजों की बेस है, जिसकी कॉस्ट कम हो रही है और कैपेसिटी बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ती चली जा रही है, डेफिनेटली क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग विद द कनेक्टेड पीपल, विद डाटा, विद IoT, विद
I think
Sorry
Akshay
to
should take over.
interrupt.
Sajid
Yes,
is
sorry
facing
to
some
interrupt you,
connectivity.
Sajid. We can't hear you.
जी, I think there is some connection issue at Sajid's end. थोड़ा सा I think stuck हो गई है video. I think his broadcast has been
disrupting, and then there is
paused.
a
Sajid, if you are back
sorry,
with us,
a second,
yeah.
I am.
Can we
Can you
start
hear me
with?
okay?
Yeah, we can hear you okay now. I think अगर आप अपनी video pause कर दें and we can just continue with the audio, I think that would be better. Yeah.
Okay, let me know अगर कहीं पे disruption आती है, right?
Will do.
तो
Will
अगर हम
do.
ओवरऑल ड्राइवर्स देखें तो उन्होंने, सॉरी, कैन यू हेयर मी अक्सर?
Yes, we can. Perfectly fine now.
ओके, थैंक यू। सो अगर ड्राइवर फॉर डिस्ट्रप्शंस में हम देखें तो वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड द ड्राइवर्स बड़े नोन हैं, लेकिन इसमें जो डिस्ट्रप्शंस आई हैं वी हैव टू आल्सो लुक एट द डिस्ट्रप्शन साइड ऑफ इट। बाइंग बिहेवियर बहुत चेंज हो गए हैं, डिसीजन मेकिंग क्राइटेरिया बहुत चेंज हो गया। बहुत सी चीजें आप बाय करते हैं बेस्ड ऑन द रिव्यू, जो कि जिसको हम कहते हैं पावर ऑफ क्राउड की बात होती है, कि लोगों ने जो कमेंट्स दिए होते हैं, सजेशंस दिए होते हैं, उसकी बेस पे बाइंग हो रही होती है। बिल्कुल ऐसे जैसे लिंक्डइन पे आपके प्रोफाइल पे जितनी इंडोर्समेंट्स आती हैं उसी लिहाज से आपकी वैल्यू भी चेंज होती रहती है, आपका ब्रांड भी डेवलप होता जा रहा है। एक्सेस टू इंफॉर्मेशन, जो एक हम अगर गुफ्तगू करें कि एक बच्चा जिसके हाथ में इस वक्त एक स्मार्टफोन है, उसके पास वही एक्सेस है इंफॉर्मेशन की जो शायद एक साइंटिस्ट किसी यूनिवर्सिटी की लैब में बैठ के रिसर्च कर रहा है, मोर लेस वही एक्सेस द पर्सन कैन डू ओवर द नेट। सो दोनों के पास जो रिसोर्सेज हैं, वो जो ऑनलाइन रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं, दोनों के पास एक सेम एक्सेस जनरेट हो जाती है इंफॉर्मेशन की। सोशल इंटरेक्शन के जो मॉडल्स हमारे थे वो बहुत चेंज हो गए। जो पहले गैदरिंग की बात होती थी, अब हमारे पास सोशल प्लेटफॉर्म है। एडवर्टाइजमेंट के लिए जहां बिल बोर्ड की बात होती थी, वहां शायद फेसबुक एड या गूगल एड की बात हो रही होगी, इंस्टाग्राम की बात हो रही होगी, टिकटॉक पे या इन ऐप एडवर्टाइजमेंट की बात हो रही होगी, इन ऐप परचेज की बात हो रही होगी। हमारी लैंग्वेज बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हुई, हमारी जो कम्युनिकेशन के टूल्स हैं वो बहुत चेंज हुए। इसी तरह कस्टमर के रिस्पॉन्सेज और वैलिडेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हो गया। जैसे अभी हमने इंडोर्समेंट्स की बात की, पेमेंट का मैकेनिज्म चेंज हुआ, और एक बहुत बड़ी चेंज आई मार्केट एक्सेस की। अगर मैं आज पाकिस्तान में बैठा हुआ हूं और मैं $3 बिलियन की एक इकोनॉमी का पार्ट हूं, बट मेरी मार्केट एक्सेस इस वक्त $80 ट्रिलियन की वर्ल्ड वाइड ग्लोबल मार्केट है। आई हैव टू फिगर आउट कि मैं उसमें किस तरह कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता हूं और हाउ आई कैन लेवरेज दैट। सो ये सारी चीजें क्रिएट करती हैं एक exponential growth की opportunity, but at the same time the risk is that if you are not relevant, so वो जो exponential growth है वो शायद किसी और के लिए होगी और आप irrelevant हो जाएंगे। So we have to really see the both sides of that coin. अगर आप उस opportunity, आप उस wave को ride करते हैं तो एक exponential growth है, और अगर आप उस wave को miss कर देते हैं तो वहां पे relevant रहने के लिए जो level of effort होगा वो बहुत ज्यादा होगा। इसी चीज को हम आगे लेके चलते हैं जब हम एक बात कर रहे हैं एक लीडरशिप की, एक बात कर रहे हैं एक इकोनॉमी की, एक बात कर रहे हैं डिसरप्शन की। तो उसमें हमारे पास नेक्स्ट आइटम जो एक इंपॉर्टेंट है टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल जर्नी होगी कैसी, हाउ दैट जर्नी वर्क्स। इस जर्नी में बहुत से लोग बहुत जल्दी बहुत कुछ करना चाहते हैं, दैट्स नॉट द मॉडल मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम वर्क्स। जो मॉडल सबसे ज्यादा काम करता है उसमें यू रियली हैव टू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अहेड एंड लुक अराउंड कि दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है और आप कौन सी वेव राइड करना चाह रहे हैं। और अभी हम आएंगे इस पे, थोड़ी सी गुफ्तगू करेंगे कैरियर जोन्स जो नजर आ रहे हैं सीसीए को, और उन कैरियर जोन्स में क्या रिक्वायर्ड। एंड देन यू हैव टू स्टार्ट स्मॉल। एक छोटी सी चेंज इन योर रूटीन, एक छोटी सी चेंज आपकी हैबिट में, और वो दैट विल ड्राइव योर ओवरऑल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल जर्नी। और जब आपने एक छोटा स्टार्ट लिया, एक छोटी कमिटमेंट की, उसको अचीव किया, उसके बाद एक और कमिटमेंट की, उसको अचीव किया, और आपने नई रूटीन्स और हैबिट्स डेवलप की, नए स्किल्स डेवलप किए, उसके बाद द नेक्स्ट लेवल इज टू स्केल इट। यू कांट कंटिन्यू ऑन द सेम पेस। सो डेफिनेटली आपने सोचना है आगे दुनिया किस तरह चेंज हो रही है, सम कैरियर जोन्स की अभी हम बात कर रहे होंगे, एंड देन स्टार्ट टेकिंग दो स्मॉल स्टेप। वो स्मॉल स्टेप ये भी हो सकता है कि आपने आज एक चीज लर्न करनी है, यू माइट स्पेंड 10 minutes टू लर्न अ सर्टेन कॉन्सेप्ट, अ वेरी फंडामेंटल कॉन्सेप्ट, एंड देन यू ट्राई टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट और इम्प्लीमेंट दैट इन योर work life or your personal life, and then you have to make it habit, and then you can scale it. So this is the concept, or this is a transformational journey जो हर कोई लेके चल रहा होता है। Nothing gonna happen on a very fast pace when we are talking about a change. Transformation जो है वो बहुत ज्यादा तेज नहीं होती। आपको पहले उसकी फाउंडेशन डेवलप करनी पड़ती है, उसकी ग्राउंड्स डेवलप करनी पड़ती हैं, एंड देन यू कैन रियली स्केल इट। सो ये एक छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्ट है, इसको जहन में रखिएगा कि यू हैव टू कीप थिंकिंग अहेड, you have to start making a small change, and as soon as you become expert in that change you have to scale it. अब हम कुछ पर्सोनास डिस्कस करते हैं, क्योंकि हम बात कर रहे हैं इस वक्त पीपल हु आर एट अ मिड टू सीनियर कैरियर पे, जहां पे वो आ चुके हैं सीनियर लेवल कैरियर पे। तो उसमें हमारे पास 3 या 4 पर्सोनास हैं जिसको अंडरस्टैंड करना जरूरी है, क्योंकि आपके कैरियर में यही चीजें आगे आपको नजर आ रही होती हैं। सो देयर इज अ वन पर्सोना अबाउट द बोर्ड मेंबर, and just look at that. I picked up from the internet, and I found it very interesting कि बोर्ड मेंबर का अगर आप एक पर्सोना देखते हैं तो उसमें क्या चीजें आपको नजर आनी चाहिए। It didn't start with the technical knowledge, it starts with the passion, कि आप जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ एज अ बोर्ड मेंबर अटैच हो रहे हैं, आपका उसके मिशन में इंटरेस्ट होना चाहिए। What this organization is really going to deliver, उसका पर्पस क्या है, do you really believe in that purpose? Then we can talk about vision and leadership, we can talk about stewardship, we can talk about knowledge जो आपके पास है, diligence की बात कर सकते हैं, discretion की बात कर सकते हैं, respectful attitude की बात कर सकते हैं, how you take everybody forward. So किसी भी एक board member की अगर हम बात करेंगे तो we are going to talk about these 7 qualities जो कि एक persona डेवलप करेगा, और इसके कंपोनेंट्स और इसका आइडियल जो मिक्स है, that will create what the board member should look like. इसी को एक स्टेप हम आगे लेके चलते हैं। एक सीईओ की अगर हम बात करते हैं लीडरशिप के उसके स्टाइल की, तो व्हाट द रोल ऑफ द सीईओ अगर हम देखें उसका पर्सोना, तो उसमें आपको नजर आएगा एंगेजिंग, इंस्पायरिंग, एनर्जाइजिंग। तो उसका बहुत बड़ा रोल जो है वो टीम में के लिए एक पॉजिटिव कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर क्रिएट करना, टीम को एम्पावर करना और कंपनी के मिशन पे फोकस रखना। सो अगेन, बोर्ड मेंबर से जब हम सीईओ पे आए हैं, तो स्टिल वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द कंपनी मिशन, एंड देन देयर इज अ सर्टेन वैल्यूज जिसकी बेस पे वो मिशन डिलीवर हो रहा होता है। तो ये एक सीईओ का पर्सोना हो। फाइनेंस लीडरशिप की हम बात कर लेते हैं कि हाउ द फाइनेंस लीडरशिप लुक लाइक। सो अगर हम इसमें देखेंगे तो आपको इफेक्टिव लीडर्स की बात नजर आ रही होगी, इफेक्टिव लीडरशिप क्वालिटीज की बात नजर आ रही होगी, फाइनेंशियल हेल्थ की बात नजर आ रही है, मेकिंग डिसीजन बेस्ड ऑन अ फाइनेंशियल रियलिटीज की बात नजर आ रही है। बट अगेन इफ यू गो डाउन, you will talk about the strategic connection between money and mission. So जैसे जैसे आप हेरारकी में, लीडरशिप हेरारकी में ऊपर जा रहे होते हैं एक कॉर्पोरेट स्ट्रक्चर में, चाहे आप अपने क्लाइंट को असिस्ट कर रहे हैं या आप एक एम्प्लॉयर के पास काम कर रहे हैं, उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का पर्पस और उस पर्पस को अंडरस्टैंड करना और उसमें वो स्ट्रेटेजिक कनेक्शंस डेवलप करना और उस पर्पस की तरफ कंट्रीब्यूट करना कलेक्टिवली, that's where that leadership and those personas and those roles exist. और जब हम वैल्यू की बात करते हैं, तो these are the key values based on a different roles or persona you are expected to deliver. इसमें अगर हम बात करें तो बहुत अर्ली स्टेज पे, अगर आप स्टूडेंट को अगर हम बात कर रहे होते तो वो शायद इस वक्त फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स की बात कर रहे होते बहुत अर्ली स्टेज पे. When you become a member, you understand the overall ecosystem and you talk about the decision making. But once you come to the leadership, now we are talking about the strategic connection between money and mission. Whether this money which we are spending or the money which we are earning, is it in line with the mission of the organization? क्या वो purpose serve हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा? Right? So इन personas को दिखाने का purpose ये था कि you can go back and see कि इसमें से कौन सा persona है जो आपके लिए एक एस्पिरेशन है, और उस एस्पिरेशन के लिए वी कैन वर्क अप अराउंड विद इन द 7 digits प्रोग्राम. इसमें बहुत सी चीजें हैं जो इस तरह के पर्सोना डेवलप करने के लिए, इफ यू हैव दोज एस्पिरेशन, बहुत से टूल्स, बहुत से स्किल्स, बहुत से exercises हैं which can help you to get in the right mindset, develop the right skill set, and also look around the right tool sets to deliver on the role which you are looking forward to. इसके बाद I would just like to use one of a slide, that's internal ACCA slide. ये हम लोग जब अपनी लीडरशिप ट्रेनिंग्स कर रहे होते हैं या हम इंटरनली गुफ्तगू कर रहे होते हैं, तो इट ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद अ वन स्मॉल चेंज. वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट मेकिंग अ वेरी बिग चेंज. सो जो आपको नीचे नजर आ रहा है, जो टेक्स्ट है, जो शायद आप रीडेबिलिटी की बात आएगी, लेकिन it's not about what we are doing, it's basically how we are approaching to make that transformational journey. Inclusion, integrity, innovation are the core value जिस पे ACCA operate कर रहा होता है. और अगर आप leadership behaviors की बात करेंगे कि it's not about the skill alone, it's the behavior, how you really conduct yourself on an everyday basis, creating opportunity, fostering trust, leading change, empowering teams. These are the leadership behaviors. That's how we get assessed on that, कि हम चीजों को किस तरह आगे लेके चल रहे हैं और हमारी अपनी पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट में हम क्या कर रहे हैं. We can't do all the behaviors at the same time, but one small change is the way forward, how you take it, how you really get on the transformational journey. जैसे मैंने पहले बात की थी, think ahead, start small, scale fast. ACCA की बड़ी recent research में ये career zones जो हैं ये highlight हुए हैं based on the different opinions we have got, based on the different input we got from our employers, from the client side of it. और अगर हम इसको categorize करें तो ये 5 career zones बनते हैं. The assurance advocate, the people who are working on a assurance side, जिसमें आप statutory audit से लेके एक infographic की validation की बात कर लें, एक business plan की या feasibility के review की बात कर लें, these all are the assurance side of it. Then we are talking about the business transformer, the people who lead that. वो operations भी देखते हैं, वो supply chain भी देखते हैं, वो finance भी देखते हैं, वो commercial areas भी देख रहे होते हैं. The people who really lead that transformation of their current business or a business model, based on the whatever the transformational driver or the driver for the disruptions, उनको evaluate करते हैं और अपने business को उसके साथ align करते हैं. And then there's the data navigators, the people who provide the true insight, what the data means. It's not about compiling the data and putting together a report, but it's actually making sense out of that. कि आपका historical trend जो है, मैं आपको इसकी बड़ी simple example देता हूँ. फाइनेंस में हम बहुत सी चीजें जो हैं वो बिजनेस प्लान पे काम कर रहे होते हैं, बट लेट्स अज्यूम अगर आपके पास वेदर का डाटा अवेलेबल है एंड यू कैन एक्सट्रापोलेट कि वेदर की फोरकास्ट क्या है, यू कैन रियली कम अप विद द, लेट्स से अगर हम एग्रीकल्चर एज अ सेक्टर लेखें तो उसमें यू कैन रियली कम अप विद दैट कि वहां पे ट्रांसपोर्टेशन रिक्वायरमेंट या सर्ज कब आने वाली है, व्हेन यू नीड अ वेयर हाउसिंग, आपका पैकेजिंग मटेरियल कब चाहिए, आपका फर्टिलाइजर्स, पेस्टिसाइड्स, आप उन सब की सप्लाई चेन को देख सकते हैं जस्ट बिकॉज यू आर analyzing the data which is maybe weather, but that help you to really see कि इस weather का ecosystem पे क्या impact आएगा और opportunity कहाँ exist करती है. And then we are talking about the digital playmaker, the people who are really using the digital technologies and they are creating the new plays जिसमें आपके payment solution है, fintech है, fincom है. There are too many terms which are linked with the technology right now. How you really deploy that digital mindset, वो एक अलग से पूरी conversation है. And then we are looking at the sustainability trade business when the businesses are more stable and you are trying to really build a sustainable growth. And when we talk about the sustainable, we are talking about ESG, we are talking about environment, we are talking about social, we are talking about governance. So एक sustainability जो है उसकी लीडरशिप एक अलहदा से आ रही है. और ये फाइनेंस प्रोफेशनल अकाउंटिंग के हवाले से अगर हम देखें तो ये 5 की कैरियर जोन्स जो हैं वो नजर आ रहे हैं हमें, या इनसाइट में हमें ये चीजें रिकमेंड हो रही है, हाउ पीपल शुड बी लुकिंग एट द फ्यूचर कैरियर्स. अब उसमें डेफिनेटली आपके पास कुछ क्वेश्चंस आएंगे, कुछ बिहेवियर्स आएंगे, कुछ आपके ओवरऑल रिसोर्सेज आएंगे, हाउ वी गेट देयर. But to develop sustainable economies or sustainable organization, we need all 5 players there. It's not that the one can be better than the other. And you have to really categorize yourself. And I always recommend that pick one, try to see whatever you believe that what is your current role or आपकी direction और आप किस career zone में fall करते हैं, and go through that report as well and try to match कि आपका skill set और आपकी progress जो है वो उस career zone के साथ किस हद तक match कर रही है. So that career zone is a good benchmark कि आप अपने आप को रिव्यू कर सकें, एक सेल्फ असेसमेंट कर सकें. और एसीसी ने बहुत अच्छी एक प्रोफेशनल इनसाइट इस पे अवेलेबल की हुई है. Now, based on that, what are the disruptions and what is going to be disrupted or already disrupted? किस तरह की insights हमें मिल रही हैं, किस तरह के personas हैं, particularly if we are looking at the senior management, C level और board level के अगर हम roles देखते हैं तो उनसे क्या expectations हैं, career zones किस तरह evolve हो रहे हैं, और जो एक behaviors हैं उनका क्या एक implication आती है, and how we can really look at that. So the question comes to us as an individual or collectively, am I doing enough to stay relevant and ahead of the curve? ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन होता है किसी भी प्रोफेशनल के लिए, बट प्रैक्टिकली अ प्रोफेशनल अकाउंटेंट जिसने ओपिनियंस देनी होती हैं ऑन अ डिफरेंट मैटर्स, तो ये बहुत ज्यादा काउंट करता है. एम आई डूइंग इनफ टू स्टे रेलेवेंट एंड अहेड ऑफ द कर्व? डू आई नो व्हाट द रेलेवेंस मीन? सो डू हैव इनफ इंफॉर्मेशन अराउंड दैट? एंड दूसरा क्वेश्चन आपका ये आता है, हैव आई डिसाइडेड द काइंड ऑफ फ्यूचर आई वांट टू बिल्ड फॉर माई सेल्फ एंड द पीपल अराउंड मी? सो पहली चीज तो आपने अपना करंट जो स्टेटस है उसको इवैल्यूएट करना है कि द प्रोग्रेस व्हिच वी आर मेकिंग, इज इट गुड इनफ? एंड द सेकंड जो आपके पास आता है वो ये आता है, डू यू नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ फ्यूचर यू वांट टू बिल्ड? सो ये दो सवाल जो है, आई लीव दैट क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू, और हम डेफिनेटली क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशंस में भी जाएंगे. द ओवरऑल कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ द 7-digit प्रोग्राम is to really provide you resources, visibility, perspective, and help you to really see कि अगर आज आप 250-300,000 पे हैं, that's our minimum threshold जिसकी बेस पे हम लोगों को आगे लेके चल रहे हैं. So what does it take to get to a journey of a 1 million as a minimum? And the 1 million is not the end point. We are still talking about how you can get to the 7-digit earning or income. और एक मैं बड़ी सिंपल एग्जांपल देता हूं, and I always use that example that helped me a lot. मुझे जिंदगी में बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प किया था इसने चीजों को क्वांटिफाई करने के लिए. कि अगर मैं 1 मिलियन की वैल्यू मांग रहा हूं किसी से एज अ एम्प्लॉय, एंड दैट्स एज अ एम्प्लॉय की बात हो रही है, so then I am supposed to deliver somewhere between 25 to 40 million की वैल्यू. अगर मैं 1 million rupees monthly की वैल्यू I want employer to pay me, then I am supposed to deliver somewhere a value equivalent to 25 to 40 million rupees a month. How you quantify that based on your current role, that's definitely you have to go back and see इसके क्या quantify करने के models क्या हो सकते हैं. But during 7 digits we will start looking around it कि आप किस तरह अपने contribution को value कर सकते हैं, and then you can really see कि are you getting paid enough, और आपको क्या चीज change करनी है which can lead you to that journey or that benchmark जो भी आप अपने लिए next benchmark set करते हैं. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we are here, or definitely हम बहुत से questions भी ले रहे होंगे. And now I head over back to ACCA, and ACCA, we can take it forward from there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sajid. Thank you for that very insightful session. और इसी तरह की different insights आप लोगों को मिलती रहेंगी throughout 7 digits का हमारा जो program है. Taking it forward from there, अगर इस presentation से related किसी के सवाल हैं तो do post your question in the comment section. उसके अलावा अभी हम लोग start करने लगे हैं अपने senior fellow members के साथ उनके keynote addresses. We have असद अली शरीफ and we have महविश इकबाल. तो उनके addresses से related जो भी आपके सवाल होंगे वो लाजमी आप लोग comment section और question section में post करें, because after that after their addresses we will be taking questions from for them. So we will start off with Asad Ali Sharif. Asad, what are your insights? What is your journey to success? What insights from your career can you share with our audience today?
Thank you, Aksa. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. And I would first like to congratulate the ACCA office and the fraternity for the successful launch of the 7 digits program. And it is at the backs of the 6 digits program's successfulness that we were talking about earlier on. So this actually is very heartwarming to know the way ACCA partners with industry experts, with the fellow ACCA fraternity, and delivers value itself. So जो value की बात कर रहे थे, तो ACCA itself कितनी value deliver करता है for enhancing the skill set of its members. This is very much commendable. So before I get into the details, just picking up on what Sajid said, that the mindset is very much important. And on mindset, my conversation today would be primarily around 3 factors. First है confidence, then it is about skill set, and then some details or insights around mindset. So पहली चीज जो सबसे important है, जो हमें अपने आप को reassure करने की जरूरत है, and the fact that we should continuously tell this to ourselves, which also boosts our confidence, is that we are in the right moment of time, we have the right skill set, and we have the right qualification which takes us forward. So if you look at the way ACCA has transitioned over the period of years since the launch in 1994, then the exponential growth itself that it is ACCA has had, it is enough to actually justify the value that ACCA members are contributing and bringing to the table to all the organizations worldwide. इट्स अ ट्रूली इंटरनेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन, और ये इंटरनेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन को आजकल के टाइम्स के अंदर सबसे ज्यादा जो है ना बेनिफिट होगा, क्योंकि द वे यू सीन वर्किंग चेंजिंग अराउंड अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, द वे फ्लेक्सी वर्क इज नाउ एक्सपोनेंशियली ग्रोइंग. A qualification that you have, an internationally reputable qualification, is an amazing opportunity for all the ACCA members to shine. And in terms of shining, you may have also read and heard about the wonderful feats that have been achieved by the ACCA students. And I would like to congratulate the two students, Zara Naeem and Muhammad Abdullah, who have scored so high that they have actually taken the bar so high कि पाकिस्तानी स्टूडेंट से किस तरह से ग्लोबली अपने फीट को रिकग्नाइज करवाए और अपने अचीवमेंट्स को रिकग्नाइज कराए. और इस सिर्फ इस अचीवमेंट्स आप देखें कि पाकिस्तानी को कितनी ज्यादा लेवरेज और माइलेज मिल रही है, और कितना सारा ACCA स्टूडेंट्स अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड को रिकग्निशन मिल रही है across the world. So you are in the right field, you have the right qualification which should give you the confidence. International qualification in such times, it's an amazing opportunity for us to actually bank on. If you look at the developmental programs that ACC runs, like the CPD, the networking, the what the work members network panel does, it's amazing, and the way it recognizes talent all across, it is very much important to note कि वो आपकी career journey के अंदर help करता है. So it is not only that students के लिए सिर्फ interaction है ACCA का, as you progress in your career, step by step जो है programs are different through networking, through interaction with the ACCA members and the fraternity जो develop होती है. और जैसे जैसे आप senior होते जाते हैं और एक पूरा नेटवर्किंग पैनल है जो जिस तरीके से काम को आगे लेके चलता है और ACCA fraternity को डेवलप करता है. So you're not alone there. There is a big skill set of resources, your fellow ACCA members who are going to help you in this journey all across. So confidence, be extremely confident that you are in the right place in the right time, and the qualification is perfectly appropriate for you to move into the bigger roles and even target for 7 digit salaries. So in terms of the achievement, as far as the second part of the conversation is concerned, that I wanted to concentrate on is the mindset. So what does it take? The question that I'm putting out is, what does it take for an individual to improve his or her salary to 7 digits? So what is the इंटरनल वैल्यू दैट वी आर गोइंग टू ब्रिंग टू द टेबल? और जो मैंने अपने एक्सपीरियंस में देखा है और जितना मैंने अपने इर्द गिर्द देखा है, जिस तरीके से ACCA मेंबर्स ने वैल्यू ऐड की है, और क्या वो खास क्वालिटीज हैं जिनकी वजह से हम एज एन इंडिविजुअल इम्प्रूव करते रहते हैं और डिलीवर करते हैं वैल्यू को. सो व्हाट इज द स्किल सेट from a practical perspective that I wanted to briefly touch upon. So effectively, there are 6 to 7 things that I would just like to discuss here. First is flexibility. So in this world, flexibility is a name that is now very well understood than before. Flexibility also comes in your roles and your mobility. So person has to be mobile, has to be flexible. Person has to be open for change. And there's a famous quote that change is refreshing and energizing. So at certain stage in our careers, even if, for example, if I relate to the earnings at around 6 digits, अगर आप एक 6 digit earn कर रहे हैं और आप mid point of your career पे होंगे और mid level in the organization पे होंगे, and there are possible chances कि there is monotony that sets into the work. There may be some repetitive work that you would be doing, even if, for example, you're in finance or audit or compliance or operations, or even at product development side also, there may be some monotony coming in into your roles. तो ये जो एक glass ceiling है ना, what I have seen is कि many at times people are unable to break that glass ceiling और वो उस monotonous rut में जो है वो stick हो जाते हैं. और जितने roles अगर उनको कोई opportunities मिलती भी हैं तो वो उसी तरीके के similar roles, similar work के लिए approach करते हैं और aspire करते हैं, which I believe is only limiting your own growth. When you have a skill set, when you have the qualification and the right mix of resources everywhere, आप अपने आप को खुद limit करते हैं. So you always have to consciously tell this to yourself that you are open for all growth and all types of roles. तो अपने अंदर flexibility लेकर आनी बहुत जरूरी है. That's the point that I wanted to make, that you have to be mobile, plus you have to be flexible in terms of roles and opportunities. So it is not only that you should think कि जी मैं अपने current role में अगर मैं एक different ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर एक ही काम मैं रिपीटेटिवली कर रहा हूँ, फॉर एग्जांपल फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग है, तो मैं सिर्फ इस रिपोर्टिंग के जॉब के अंदर ही वर्टिकली अपने आप को जो है वो ग्रो करते हुए 7 digits को टच कर लूंगा या ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर एक सीनियर रोल पे पहुंच जाऊंगा. एट टाइम्स यू मे हैव टू टेक horizontal moves to learn more and to actually bring more value to your proposition. Second is adaptation and improvisation. So one has to adapt to the different times and different challenges, as Sajid was mentioning, कि जिस तरीके से rapidly economy change होती जा रही है, economy है, जिस तरीके से surroundings हमारी change होती जा रही है, तो इंसान को अपने अंदर भी जो है ना वो flexibility लेकर आनी है. So it is not necessary that आप अपने आप को limit करें और अपनी adaptability को compromise करें. So adaptability may be fearing it. It may be a, a बाइंडिंग कंस्ट्रेंट इन योर माइंड कि मैं मे बी इसके अंदर डिलीवर नहीं कर पाऊँ, या मैं टेक्नोलॉजी फ्रेंडली नहीं हूँ, या मैं फॉर एग्जांपल कंप्लायंस एंड रेगुलेशंस के अंदर जाके आई गेट स्टक अप. सो those those doubts are all there in your mind which you have to overcome yourself. So please make sure to adapt and improvise as you grow in the organization and be open for improvisation. Third is in terms of your deliverables, which is very important, and it has personally actually helped me a lot in my career journey, is the fact that you always have to think two step ahead in terms of your deliverables. So for example, if your deliverable is a simple Excel file, वो एक्सेल फाइल को आप अपने लाइन मैनेजर को भेजेंगे, वो लाइन मैनेजर उसके अंदर उसको रिव्यू करेगा, या कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन उसको चाहिए होगी तो उसके अंदर से उसको यूज करेगा. फिर वो लाइन मैनेजर उसी एक्सेल फाइल से मजीद वैल्यू ड्राइव करते हुए अपने लाइन मैनेजर को रिपोर्ट करेगा और कुछ ना कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन उसमें से शेयर करेगा. मे बी इफ यू आर प्रोड्यूसिंग लेट्स से 100 rows of data, your line manager may be only picking up 30 rows of data which make sense for that person, और उन 30 में से आगे जो है वो 20 या 15 डेटा सेट्स को वो शेयर कर रहा होगा अपने लाइन मैनेजर से. सो इफ आई टॉक टिपिकली अबाउट फाइनेंस फॉर एग्जांपल, सो if a person is producing different regulatory liquidity और capital ratios, वो एक ACCA का हमारा फाइनेंस मैनेजर प्रोड्यूस कर रहा होगा 20 different ratios on a daily basis. उसमें से इसका लाइन मैनेजर 5 या 6 को पिकअप करेगा, और जो अगर फॉर एग्जांपल वो फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोलर है, एंड इफ आई मूव ऑन द चेन, द CFO would be looking at 2 to 3 different most important ratios. So you have to think 2 steps ahead of the curve, ahead of the game in your terms of your deliverables, के इवेंचुअली जो आपका अल्टीमेट बॉस है डिपार्टमेंट के अंदर, वो कौन सी इंफॉर्मेशन सबसे ज्यादा वैल्यू करता है. एंड इफ यू क्रैक दिस कोड कि जी उसको क्या चाहिए, एंड व्हाट इज द वैल्यू दैट आई कैन ब्रिंग ऑन, even in case of for example if our ACCA professionals are working in internal audit department, तो जो आपको पता है कि जी हेड ऑफ ऑडिट है तो सबसे ज्यादा कोर उसकी स्ट्रेटेजिक प्रायोरिटीज क्या है जिसको वो देखता है, व्हाट इज द विजन दैट इज बीइंग ड्रिवन. अगर हम बिजनेस के अंदर हैं तो हम ये अलाइन करेंगे कि जी बिजनेस हेड्स क्या देखते हैं. एंड इवन टू द लार्जर एक्सटेंट इफ यू टेक दिस फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव कि जी द CEO of the organization, so what are the strategic priorities of the CEO of this organization, and even if you are at mid level and you align your deliverables to those priorities, it exponentially helps in growth of your career. Fourth that I want to touch upon in the skill set piece is effectively thinking and planning a lot about your deliverables. हम बहुत दफा हमने ये देखा है कि हम अपने deliverables को जो ना बहुत tactically एड्रेस करते हैं. हमें फॉर एग्जांपल अगर एक रिपोर्ट प्रोड्यूस करनी है और एवरी मंथ प्रोड्यूस करनी है, वी विल जस्ट कंटिन्यूसली प्रोड्यूस दैट रिपोर्ट. उसके अंदर डेटा है या वर्बेज है, वो इन्फॉर्मेशन को कंपाइल करेंगे भेज देंगे, कंपाइल करेंगे भेज देंगे. Many a times what I have seen is कि we never stop and challenge ourselves to have that out of the box thinking कि जी क्या इस रिपोर्ट या डिलीवरेबल के अंदर वैल्यू ड्राइव हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही है, और हाउ कैन आई एक्चुअली ब्रिंग मोर वैल्यू टू इट. सो जो भी हमारे deliverables हैं in the corporate sector, in whichever field you are, be it financial services, be it manufacturing, be it ट्रेड सर्विसेज, बी एट फार्मास्यूटिकल, कोई भी आप सेक्टर के अंदर मौजूद है, इवन पब्लिक सेक्टर के अंदर भी, तो ये चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि जो काम आपको दिया गया या जो काम आपकी जिम्मेदारी है उसको आप कितना सोच के प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं. उसके अंदर सोच के साथ ये भी जरूरी है कि यू ऑल्सो इन्वॉल्व योर टीम मेंबर्स एंड थिंक कि जी इस डेवलपेबल को कैसे इंप्रूव किया जा सकता है और हम कितना आगे सोच के इसको पास काम करें. फिफ्थ is the most important element because in our case when we are at mid level in the organization and earning let's say 6 digits, we would be managers or senior managers or unit heads. That means we may have or we should be shortly getting teams. Build a good team because no success can be delivered unless you have a good team. आपकी completely success का जो राज है वो अच्छी टीम है. If your team is not up to the mark, the team does not have the right skill set, it will impact your own delivery. So the most important thing also from my perspective is to have a good team. And lastly, or the sixth point that I want to touch upon is stakeholder management. So as you grow in the organization, I'm sure you must have seen that diagram. I've seen that in many of the presentations also कि जो technical competency है वो आपकी organization के अंदर जो expectations है वो for example आपकी stakeholder management और technical competencies है. So technical competencies when you enter into the organization, when you start, they are high, that you are expected to know the different technical standards, be it taxation, laws, accounting, audit, जितने हमारे प्रोफेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन के सब्जेक्ट्स हैं जो आपके डिपार्टमेंट को रेलेवेंट है. और जैसे जैसे आप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर आगे बढ़ेंगे वो टेक्निकल कॉम्पिटेंसीज की रिक्वायरमेंट नीचे आती जाएगी. सो दोस टेक्निकल कॉम्पिटेंसीज और द एक्सपेक्टेशन फ्रॉम द सीनियर मैनेजमेंट स्लाइटली डिक्रीजेस, एंड जो चीज इंक्रीज करती है एक्सपोनेंशियली वो क्या ग्रो करती है, वो है लीडरशिप स्किल्स, वो है स्टेक होल्डर मैनेजमेंट, वो है ड्राइविंग वैल्यू एंड विजन ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो जो वो सॉफ्ट स्किल्स हैं वो आपको क्विकली जो है वो आपको डेवलप करनी होती है और ग्रो करनी होती है. एंड विच ऑल्सो ब्रिंग्स मी टू द टॉपिक ऑफ द competency framework of ACCA. And if you look at the competency framework of ACCA और जो इस प्रोग्राम का 7 digits प्रोग्राम का जो बिल्ड है वो उन्हीं कॉम्पिटेंसी फ्रेमवर्क को मद्देनजर रखते हुए बिल्ड किया गया है. और उसके अंदर जो अपकमिंग टास्क होंगे इस प्रोग्राम के अंदर और जो डेवलपमेंटल एरियाज होंगे, दे आर सो प्रैक्टिकली प्लेस्ड अप्रोप्रिएटली इनटू दैट जर्नी कि जो आपको हेल्प करेगी फ्रॉम दैट मिड लेवल टू द सीनियर लेवल ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. So this is about the skill set that I believe is most relevant. And as I was mentioning, I will just recap this quickly on the skill set, what it takes for an individual to improve his chances of getting 7 digit salaries. One is being flexible. Second is being adapt and flexible. Third is to think 2 steps ahead of the game in your deliverables. Fourth is planning and thinking a lot on your key deliverables along with your team members. Fifth is building a very good team that enables you to achieve. And sixth is stakeholder management. Moving on, the third part of the conversation that I wanted to have is to address a common question, which is what is the mindset that the employers look for and the employers reward. तो वो क्या mindset है जो employers देखते हैं और उसको reward करते हैं, और उसका जो underlying objective है ना वो है कि उनको कितनी value drive हो रही है. So first thing is it is the positive can do attitude that will be rewarded. If you have a negative attitude, it will never be rewarded. The positive can do attitude will be the one that actually generates value and will be rewarding for you. So सबसे important ये चीज है कि हमें अपना attitude को बहुत positive रखना है. Employees will push you. So they will push you to the core, or it is up to you, can you deliver consistently or not. When we talk about work-life balance, when we talk about the expectations from the line managers, ये common theme across all organizations कि वो continuous bombarding of deliverables होगी, वो आपको push करते रहेंगे. 2 दिन अच्छे होंगे, 2 दिन ज्यादा काम होगा, घर पे हैं आप, कोई भी आप ऑफिस नहीं जा पा रहे हैं, कोई भी आपके पर्सनल कमिटमेंट नहीं है, उसके बावजूद भी जो है ना वो एम्प्लॉयर्स कंटिन्यू पुशिंग फॉर वर्क बिकॉज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज लिविंग एंड थ्राइविंग एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नीड्स टू ड्राइव वैल्यू. सो you have to be first ready to take on that heat to deliver versus the push that is coming in. So the most important thing is that you have to have that positive mindset to deliver despite all of the challenges or the push that you'll get from the employer. Second is proactiveness and sense making. कि आपने आपने अपने काम को, अपने डिलीवरेबल को जितना आप प्रोएक्टिवली मैनेज करेंगे और डिलीवर करेंगे वो काफी रिवॉर्डिंग होता है. क्योंकि जब एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर व्हेन यू आर हैविंग अ परफॉर्मेंस कन्वर्सेशंस, इफ यू अचीव्ड ऑल द रिपोर्टिंग डेडलाइंस फॉर एग्जांपल ऑन टाइम, तो आपको उसके अगेंस्ट जो रेटिंग आपको मिलेगी वो मिलेगी, मैक्सिमम गुड मिल जाएगी या एवरेज रेटिंग आपको मिलेगी. बट अगर आपने कोई ऐसा डिलीवरेबल अचीव किया है which was proactively helpful for the organization, that is rewarded more. So in terms of if I look at the performance conversations that I've had with my line managers in my journey, and also the conversations that I used to have with my team members, तो जो डे टू डे ऑब्जेक्टिव्स को डिलीवर कर रहे हैं उनके लिए हमेशा मोस्ट ऑफ द सिचुएशंस के अंदर एवरेज या गुड रेटिंग्स होती थी. The people who have taken bigger, better ratings, better pay scales, or have actually been more valuable for the organization are the ones that were more proactive in delivering and who made sense of the organization's objectives and delivered value around that. So proactive रहना है, दो step ahead game का रहना है, sense make करता रहना है कि जी organization का क्या purpose है, organization क्या achieve करने जा रही है, organization के क्या challenges है currently और उसके अंदर किस तरीके से हम अपने आप को better value deliver कर सकते हैं. Third is technical competency. Technical competency अपने आप को up to date रखें. ACCA gives you that platform to keep you up to date. Plus with this online learnings everywhere and many knowledge-based resources and platforms, um, invest in yourself. Even if it is for 3 hours, 2 hours a month, that is good enough. Still, I would suggest कि आप mid level पे हो या mid से senior level पे जा रहे हो, अपने ऊपर invest करते रहें continuously and develop your skill set, competency, your knowledge about the market, technical aspects. Fourth is leadership skills. Big expectation on leadership, being the face of the organization, being there in front of the board, being there in front of the regulators, your C-suite. If you are targeting to go into that C-suite range, there'll be other C-suite executives sitting left, right, and center. So leadership skills would be most important. Fifth is people management. And when I say people management, it is not only team management, but it is roughly a hybrid of stakeholder management and leadership skills both. And I would like to expand on to this. हम जब एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर सीनियर रोल पे आके पहुंचेंगे, सो आपका जो व्यू है वो बहुत ज्यादा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए important हो जाता है and you also become very visible. So suddenly people will start listening to you or looking up to you, looking up for ideas. There will be departmental heads that will be coordinating with you directly. तो उसके ऊपर इन्वेस्ट करना बहुत जरूरी है एट दिस स्टेज ऑफ योर करियर कि जी जो आपके स्टेक होल्डर्स अक्रॉस द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल एचआर, कंप्लायंस, बिजनेस, ऑपरेशंस, जो आपके कोर स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं उनके साथ रिलेशनशिप्स आपकी कैसी हैं, आप कितना उनके काम आए हैं. एंड इन सम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस व्हेन selecting people for senior roles, input is taken by HR or by the CEO or by the board from multiple departmental heads as well. So this is practically also practiced in many organizations. अगर आप for example अपनी ही department के अंदर continuously अच्छी value add कर रहे हैं but you have been a difficult person for other departments, that feedback travels and that eventually travels all the way up to the organization. So make sure that you invest your time in stakeholder management, people management, and have cordial relations all across the organization. So that's effectively on the mindset that the employers are looking for. To recap, the positive can-do attitude, whether you can take the push or not, being proactive and having that sense-making quotient in you, technical competency, your leadership skills, and your people management skills. So that's my take on the entire journey, and I hope this valuable feedback would be helpful for you. Thank you. I hand it over back to Aksa.
Thank you so much, Asad. I think it was a great, there was tons of insights in that very small time that you took, और I think कि आप हमें future sessions के लिए भी join करेंगे, तो that would be really great to have you on board. And again, मैं अपनी audience से कह दूँ कि कोई भी सवाल जो आप असद से direct करना चाहते हैं, अपने questions check section में post कर दें ताकि we can check those and we can take those after Mehwish's session. असद के बाद मैं महविश को इनवाइट करना चाहूंगी. महविश इकबाल, शी इज ए फाइनेंस बिजनेस पार्टनर फॉर high value interventions for Unilever. Very successful, very हमारे fellow members जो हैं वो they are full of insights because their careers are long, their careers are what shaped the finance industry, what shaped the ACCA qualification in Pakistan. So Mevish, I will hand it over to you और आप बताएं कि आपने क्या-क्या अपने career में insights gain की हैं that you can share with people that they can be closer to their goals as well.
Thank you very much, Aksa. I think very nicely covered by Asad in his previous speech. I'm just going to touch upon a couple of things, and most probably will be building on most of what Asad has said. If I just break it down into the two areas that we're talking about today, is your technical skill set as well as then your behavioral skill set. As far as the technical skill set is concerned, I think very rightly pointed out, by Asad as well, ACCA qualification already caters to all of those, kind of competencies that are required for accountants. So the qualification is, it is all encompassing. It not only handles the core technical accounting bits, but also in terms of your team management. It also touches on a lot of other areas that future managers need while they're working for organizations. In itself, ACCA is a very all-encompassing kind of a qualification. We just do not churn out accountants. We're looking at business managers who are the future of organization and leadership teams as we move ahead. So technical skill set, if I am to pick, my core, as to say, competencies that I look for, or that I have worked on over the years, is adaptability. When I say adaptability, I do not only mean, as rightly pointed out, it is not just about, being open to different roles, trying out something different, stepping out of your comfort zone. Adaptability is also in terms of having an understanding of in the industry you're working in and what is all evolving in that industry. What are the new trends that are emerging, and where you can step in and add, bring those, so basically bringing the outside in the organization and evolving the organization alongside, the evolving environment that you're working in. I think Sajid also very correctly gave a few examples in his presentation that he shared with us, whereby he touched upon things like the disruption that's going around us all, which is AI coming in, the Internet of Things. We're hearing all of these terms. And these are the realities of the environment, of the external market that our organization, that our companies are working in. How do we as professionals, how do we as business managers help the organization take that journey, bring that outside in for the organization? I think that is very important. So for example, Sajid also gave an example in his presentation that imagine that if you're able to understand the crop cycle or the weather predictions, and you're able to take that in, look how will we be able to plan, for our, let's say, a transportation business for that matter. Very interestingly, we talk about these things, but this is all reality that is happening in our world as we speak, and it is for us to enable the businesses to leverage from all those technologies and all that disruption that is happening around. So I'll take a similar example. AI is a very, it's a field that is very, we're very keenly looking into, and trying to see how we can incorporate, crop cycles. We know that, with crop cycles, people have cash in hand. How do we incorporate all of that weather forecast and these kind of external variables in our demand planning? Yeah, just to equip us to to forecast it, where our consumers are going to be better. So these kind of things. So adaptability, it is very important. We not only have to, and probably we will have to upskill ourselves a little bit over here. There are many courses available. ACC also facilitates in that manner. And some organizations also, proactively want their employees to, to upskill themselves in these areas. So, I think basic languages, etc. Just RPAs, a lot of organizations that I'm aware of are doing it in-house. So how do you build in those efficiencies in your processes, in your systems, to free up man hours, and channel them to areas that are more of high value or value addition to the organization? So free up your manpower, your resources, from probably monotonous tasks, and then plug them behind areas where there is more value that the organization can drive. So I think when you talk about technical skill set, these are the things that are very important. So your adaptability, your ability to understand the new trends that are happening, how your ability to translate them for your company, that how we can benefit from these trends, or how we can leverage from them. And of course your industry knowledge, keeping an eye on those external environment that you work in. If I move on to the behavioral aspect, or skill set required to it, I think first and foremost, uh, Unilever is very big on it. So that is something that I always quote, is your purpose. Your purpose, I think a lot of people do not have that time, or do not prioritize that self reflection, that what is it that they want to achieve, what is it that they stand for. Your individual purpose should always align with your organizational purpose. Only then you will be able to add value, to be motivated to work and go beyond that extra, go that extra mile for the organization, is because if your values, your personal values, your personal purpose also fits in line with the organization mission and purpose. I think it is very important, because that is what where the inner drives come from. That is where your ownership of the organization comes from, is when you share a common mutual set of values with your organization. So align yourself with what your organization's mission or vision is, what it stands for, and what is it that it's trying to achieve, yeah, through the organization. So I think first and foremost, spend some time identifying what drives you, and whether it is you are the right fit for the organization that you're working for or not. And of course, upskilling yourselves, as I've spoken earlier as well, stepping out of your comfort zone. As Asad very rightly pointed out, that we continue working in a certain area, and we get very comfortable with it, and we want to continue doing the same thing, because that's our safe space, that's our safe zone. Challenging yourself really what brings out the best in ourselves. It will help us build our knowledge and our personal, our behavioral side of our personality as well. Challenge yourself and continue challenging yourself by exploring things that you would otherwise be uncomfortable, that you find yourself that you're not comfortable in doing so. uh, and I can quote it through a personal example also. I've been with Unilever for over a period of 10-12 years, and I have done multiple roles. I personally used to think that probably expertise role, which is tax and treasury, is not in my area of core strength, and I would not want to do it. But during these 10 years, I did challenge myself. I've worked in tax also, which is a very, very specialized function in any organization. And I was able to add a lot more expertise to myself, to my resume, and I was able to partner the business better. As I grew in the organization, when I went to the commercial controller role, so on and so forth, I was able to add those insights that they would usually go to a tax expert to get. So please keep challenging yourself. There is nothing um, that you're not ready for. The ACCA, like I said earlier, the ACCA qualification has helped us, equipped us with the foundations. It is for us to build the building on those foundations by continuing to challenge ourselves and exploring all the areas where we might think that this is probably not my core strength, whether I should dwell in it or not. Please take the chance. This is, it is a way of investing in yourself, and making yourself valuable and important to the organization over the years, because the diverse skill set that you will acquire by doing this will be invaluable to the organization. I think one more thing which is very important is, as you grow in the organization, is your networking and your stakeholder management, as again very rightly pointed out by Asad. When you talk about so as you grow in leadership roles, your more of your work has to be around teams and people. Yeah, so you have to have the right soft skills that we call them, which is your influencing skill, your stakeholder management, your partnering skills with not just upwards in the organization, with your peers as well as your teams. These become very essential. Whether you're able to land and lead an agenda, influence people around the concept, the thought process that you have, getting a buy-in from all stakeholders, and really taking something from the thought process to all the way to the end. That is what it involves and entails. So I think that is just my couple of builds on the behavioral and the technical skill set that is required by accountants in our organization, in the business current business organizations. Over to you, Aksa. I'm happy to take if there are any questions as well.
थैंक यू सो मच महवेश। अगेन मैं अपनी ऑडियंस से बताना से तो रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी, कोई भी सवाल महवेश और असद से है तो वो अभी ही आप कमेंट सेक्शन में, क्वेश्चन सेक्शन में पोस्ट कर दें ताकि हम लोग उनसे वो क्वेश्चंस ले सकें। किसी भी के भी कोई भी सवाल है तो वी कैन स्टार्ट टेकिंग दोस। Shahid Khan is our head of business development in our central region. Shahid, can you identify the questions that were shared for Asad and Mahvesh, and we can start with those. Meanwhile, जिन लोगों ने और क्वेश्चंस पूछे हैं वो प्लीज अपने क्वेश्चंस लाजमी कमेंट सेक्शन में पोस्ट कर दें। थैंक यू।
जी sure, thank you very much Aksa, and thank you very much especially Asad and Mahvesh. I mean, the feedback which I am getting from all participants are exciting. They are loving it and obviously want to learn from both of you more. But I'll begin. My first question is for Sajid, Aksa, और ये once coincidentally Aksa Khan ने पूछा है. She is our member and she's saying, Sajid, don't you think that the market is reduced or shrinking for newcomers? Because आपने बहुत hope, optimism, opportunity size की बात की in your earlier slides, but your quick views around that.
Thank you. I think इसमें हमेशा जब हम मार्केट की बात करते हैं तो we have to literally define market. अभी जैसे मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले बात की थी कि whether we are looking at 300 billion का GDP पाकिस्तान का, or we are looking at the $80 trillion of the global GDP, it will change the perspective. So मार्केट हमेशा एक पर्सपेक्टिव के साथ चलती है कि आप किस पर्सपेक्टिव से मार्केट को देख रहे हैं. Definitely, if you are looking at the role of maybe accounts payable, accounts receivable, so those are going to be replaced by software. और शायद उस सॉफ्टवेयर में डाटा एंट्री भी नहीं चाहिए अब आपको. आपके पास इतने कनेक्टेड सेंसर्स अवेलेबल हैं कि आपकी सप्लाई चेन रिलेटेड और कस्टमर रिलेटेड ट्रांजैक्शंस जो हैं वो ऑटोमेटिकली पॉपुलेट हो जाती है. सो डेफिनेटली अगर आप इस तरह के रोल देख रहे हैं तो वो नहीं आपको नजर आएंगे. But if you are looking at creating a use case with the blockchain, so it's all open. We are not finding enough people in the world who can really create a use case for the deployment of the blockchain for trade, deploy the blockchain for the I would say donations, how they can really track that where the money came from and where it's basically deployed और उसका किस तरह एक ओवरऑल इम्पैक्ट नजर आ रहा है. और हम यूज केस की बात कर रहे हैं. हमने एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया था 2-3 years back with 31 individuals in Lahore, and we tried to really build certain capability around the data sciences. और जब मैंने यूके में the company I brought it, तो वो हंस रहे थे कि ये हो ही नहीं सकता. We are talking about the creativity, you are talking about the talent, you are talking about tech savvy people, and you are bringing accountants to really talk about it जिनका कोई IT background नहीं है. लेकिन within I think 20 hours or 30 hours की ट्रेनिंग थी वो, और उसके बाद जो यूज केसेस उन्होंने सबमिट किए थे, people were pleasantly surprised कि the thought process an accountant can bring to the table with the professional background, with the relevance, वो जो उनका thought process है वो बहुत value create करता है. So अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे with the compliances coming in or tax becoming more complicated, there are too many options कमिंग ऑन अ ई-कॉमर्स साइड और आपकी मार्केट साइज और ग्रोथ अपॉर्चुनिटी बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हो रही है, तो अकाउंटिंग की मार्केट श्रिंक नहीं हो रही। एक्चुअली फाइनेंस नॉलेज इज वन ऑफ अ नॉलेज बेस, जो कि अगर आप ग्लोबली भी देखें तो सीईओज को जब हम देखा करते थे, आज से आप 5-10 साल पीछे चले जाएं, तो वहां पे हमेशा ये आता था, एक बहुत बड़ी एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंसर्न है, वहां पे इंजीनियर्स जो हैं वो उसको हेड कर रहे होते थे, और उनकी सेकंड जो मोर डिजायर्ड डिग्री होती थी वो मार्केटिंग होती थी। सो इंजीनियरिंग और मार्केटिंग। अब उसी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को, अभी मैं टेक्नोलॉजी किसी और सेक्टर में नहीं जा रहा, उसी सेक्टर की बात कर रहे हैं जहां पे इस तरह आता था, जहां पे इंजीनियरिंग, मार्केटिंग और फिर फाइनेंस था। अब इंजीनियरिंग और फाइनेंस होता है एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंसर्न में, क्योंकि दुनिया में फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड भी है, एंड इट क्रिएट अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ यूजर एक्सपीरियंस कि आपका पेमेंट मैकेनिज्म किस तरह का है, आपका उसका रिलेशनशिप किस तरह है, और इंफॉर्मेशन का फ्लो किस तरह है, क्योंकि every transaction you do one way or other, it's end up as a economic reality, a financial transaction somewhere. और अगर फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शंस की अपॉर्चुनिटी बढ़ रही है, तो डेफिनेटली फाइनेंस का रोल भी बढ़ रहा है। लेकिन क्या ये वही रोल है जो आज से 20 साल पहले थे? सो आई वुड से नो। सो इट्स ऑल अबाउट द पर्सपेक्टिव, हाउ यू सी द वर्ल्ड, और उस पर्सपेक्टिव में हाउ यू वुड लाइक टू प्ले योर ओन रोल। आप अपना पर्सनल ब्रांड किस तरह उसमें इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हैं, अपना नॉलेज बेस किस तरह बिल्ड करते हैं। क्योंकि अगर आप ACCA का कोर्स वेयर देखेंगे ना, तो ओवरऑल फ्रॉम एग्जाम्स टू EPSM टू एक्सपीरियंस और आपके परफॉर्मेंस ऑब्जेक्टिव जो आपने नॉलेज बेस एक्वायर किया हुआ, इट्स अ टाइम टू डिप्लॉय दैट। इससे बेहतर टाइम नहीं मिल सकता आपको उसकी डिप्लॉयमेंट के लिए। द वे द वर्ल्ड इज टुडे, और द टाइप ऑफ कनेक्टेड वर्ल्ड हम बात कर रहे हैं, आपकी लिमिटेशन तो कोई सिटी, कोई कंट्री रह ही नहीं गया। इट्स ऑल अबाउट द थिंकिंग ग्लोबली।
Thank you, Sajid. I mean, before moving on to Asad and Nevish, another quick question for you. You talked about 5 career zones introduced by ACC, and then आपने इसको बड़ा nicely cover भी किया. There was a question from our member Muhammad Anas Khan, and he said, you talked about career zones, but probably it is effective and properly used within private sector, so in MNCs or private sector organization. But when it comes to public sector, इसकी application, इसकी use, इसका बहुत effectively नहीं हो रहा. So what do you have to say? कोई suggestion from you how we can improve the situation overall in the public sector other than private sector? Am I audible, Sajid?
Yes, you are. आई थिंक अगर हम वापस जाते हैं तो सेक्टर्स की बात कर लेते हैं हम, कि पब्लिक सेक्टर, हाउ द पब्लिक सेक्टर ऑपरेट्स। पाकिस्तान में पब्लिक सेक्टर का एक बहुत डिफरेंट मैकेनिज्म है जो सर्विस रूल्स पे बेस कर रहा होता है। बट अगर मैं अपनी रीसेंट इंटरेक्शंस की बात करूं, तो जहां पे द पीपल हु हैव रियली कंट्रीब्यूटेड इन अ डिफरेंट वे, सो दे वर रिवॉर्डेड, और उनका रिवॉर्ड समटाइम्स नॉट नेसेसरी उसी हायरार्की में आ रहा हो। मैंने बहुत सा रिवॉर्ड उनका देखा है डेवलपमेंट एजेंसीज की साइड से आते हुए। द पीपल लाइक द वर्ल्ड बैंक एंड ऑल दोज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्टार्ट पिकिंग अप एंड रिकमेंड देम एज अ प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजर, or somebody who can really help them to deploy their projects, and which are funded by those development agencies. Definitely public sector का अपना एक progression का mode है. If you choose public sector, you should have a right reason why you are getting into the public sector. You can't be in a public sector and try to expect it to act as a private sector, and similarly you can't be in a private sector and try to expect the privileges which the public sector may enjoy. So I think it's a matter of choices which you do. But आपका contribution जो है वो देर सवेर से रिवॉर्ड जरूर होता है। पब्लिक सेक्टर में उसका अपना मैकेनिज्म है। अगेन इट गोज बैक टू जो असद ने बात की, मैविश ने बात की, स्टेक होल्डर रिलेशनशिप मैनेजमेंट की जब हम बात करेंगे, और जब आप अपने पीपल स्किल्स की बात करेंगे, व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट द इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस की बात करेंगे, तो वहां पे डेफिनेटली इट ऑलवेज हेल्प यू टू मूव फॉरवर्ड और मूव अपवर्ड विद इन दैट सेक्टर। और आपको आउट ऑफ टर्न प्रमोशंस शायद मुश्किल काम होगा, बट आउट ऑफ टर्न आपको अपॉर्चुनिटीज जरूर मिलती हैं। बट पब्लिक सेक्टर डेफिनेटली इट्स अ वेरी डिफरेंट वन। और अगर आप ACCA की प्रोफेशनल इनसाइट पे जाएंगे, तो पब्लिक सेक्टर पे आपको बड़ा स्पेसिफिक कंटेंट मिलेगा which help you the driver of changes in the public sector, which also include Pakistan ke kuch usme hain, procurement ke usme. So that will help you to really stay a little bit ahead compared to your peers, and that will definitely will earn some rewards going forward. But definitely आपको अपने service rules और जो regulations public sector के हैं उसको देख के चलना है. But public sector और development sector goes hands in hand, और आपके पास एक बहुत बड़ी opportunity हमेशा development sector में खड़ी होती है if you are doing very well in a public sector.
Thank you very much, Sajid. Moving on to the other guest speakers, और मैं यहीं से लिंक ड्रॉ करता हूं फॉर मेविश एंड असद. हमारे पास अभी सजीद ने भी जैसे बात की पीपल स्किल्स की, ह्यूमन टू ह्यूमन इंटरेक्शंस की, इसके अंदर एक क्वेश्चन है फ्रॉम अ मेंबर हमाद अनीस. He's saying that networking, which is very close to his heart, and he's saying plays very vital role in career growth, or especially at the senior level. So आप अपने experience से इस particular, because Mavish talked about behavioral skills, technical skills, but is behavioral skills की importance weightage, or how do you explain that कि कितनी weightage होती है at the senior level?
Thank you, Ji. Shahid, if I can quickly touch upon on a couple of aspects here. नेटवर्किंग की इम्पोर्टेंस उसी तरीके से ग्रो होती है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जिस तरीके से आप किसी एक नॉर्मल सोशल एनवायरनमेंट में आप रहते हैं. मतलब इवन इफ वी कंसिडर आवरसेल्व्स एज एन ह्यूमन बीइंग, we are social animals and we do definitely interact. We need a social circle, we need friends, family, जिनके साथ हम interact करते हैं. Same is the case in organizations because they're all humans that are working there. So it comes with our DNA, and effectively in terms of the organization, what we often tend to forget is कि जी मैं सिर्फ अपने ही डिपार्टमेंट को कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहा हूँ और मेरा जो लाइन मैनेजर है दैट पर्सन इज द ओनली वन हु इज गोइंग टू rate me or do my performance evaluation. However, that's not the case. Uh, in many organizations, what is happening is that feedback is not only taken by the line manager from people or colleagues within the department, but outside the department as well. So, and plus, many organizations are now turning towards matrix structure as well, where you have multiple stakeholders. So, networking की जो importance है, it cannot be stressed upon further. Networking always has to go hand in hand. One suggestion that I have on networking is कि जी आपके जो स्टेक होल्डर्स आउटसाइड द डिपार्टमेंट है वहां पर नेटवर्किंग किस तरह से हेल्प करती है, वो आपको अगर इंटरडिपेंडेंसी इंफॉर्मेशन फ्लो में उसके लिए बहुत हेल्प करती है, वो रिलेशनशिप्स आपको स्टैब्लिश करने में. एंड ऑल्सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ हेल्पिंग यू ग्रो इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि वन स्टेप फॉरवर्ड सिर्फ आप अपने पीयर्स के साथ नेटवर्क ना करें, बट डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स के अंदर जो लोग वन स्टेप अहेड ऑफ योर ग्रेड और वन और टू स्टेप्स अहेड इन टर्म्स ऑफ करियर एक्सपीरियंस है, उनके साथ भी नेटवर्क करें. एंड दिस इज वेरी कॉमन अक्रॉस मेनी कंपनीज एज वेल कि डिफरेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती है नेटवर्किंग की भी. और अगर अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं भी है, दिस इज ऑल्सो वन एलिमेंट दैट आई वुड लाइक टू टच अपॉन कि अगर अपॉर्चुनिटी ना भी है तो अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट करें. बहुत सारे सीनियर मैनेजर्स कंटिन्यूसली टीम्स को और इंडिविजुअल्स को ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में मेंटर करते हैं. सो मेंटरिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी जैसे ही आपको मिलती है, दैट इज ऑल्सो अ नेटवर्किंग अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड यू कैन स्टेप इनटू रेज योर हैंड, go to a senior person in the organization and ask him or her that you would like to have a mentoring session. So through mentoring, through advice, through social interactions, through extracurricular activities, so networking in different forms. Mainly, it is all about staying connected with the people, not only in your unit and department, but across the organization. So, the more you stay in an organization, the more it gets important. People should be knowing you, and as you progress further in the organization, the feedback of many other stakeholders becomes important in your growth. और वो नेटवर्किंग ही के थ्रू आएगा. वो इस तरीके से नहीं आएगा कि हम बहुत अच्छी से अच्छी अगर डिलीवरेबल्स प्रोड्यूस करते हैं या एक्सेल शीट्स या वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट प्रोड्यूस करते हैं उसके थ्रू आएगा. सो यू विल हैव टू रीच आउट एट टाइम्स पीपल will not give you that opportunity, or the organization may not give you that opportunity. If there is no such opportunity, it should not limit your need to network. You can always reach out to senior management in different departments and functions and have a cup of tea with them or have a quick discussion with them. अपने आप को reach out करें. And personally, I've seen this in my organization as well. That people across many departments come to me for guidance or suggestions, or they reach out for networking, even on the social media platforms, which is absolutely acceptable for the senior management as well. And जो लोग experienced है careers के अंदर, जो अपनी life के अंदर जो है एक position पे आ चुके हैं, they also have this in their mindset that they have to give back, and they also have to develop and mentor resources. So it's a natural fit. If you take one step, there will be one step taken by the people who are senior in the organization to network as well. So it goes without saying, it is absolutely pertinent for you to grow in the organization. Networking is important. Thank you.
Gee, thank you, Asad. Anything which you would like to add, Mavish?
I think Shahid Asad has very, captured all aspects of networking very, very well. So nothing further to add from my side.
Great. So there is another question, Umair Tarar, and he said importance of financial systems. और उन्होंने मिसाल दी है Oracle और SAP की. So he's asking for the importance of Oracle and SAP, especially to grow further in the professional career. So quick comments from your side.
So Shahid, I think ERP systems or SAP systems are now pretty much a given. I don't think these, knowledge of these system is what is going to help us excel in organizations. I think it is now the world has evolved beyond that. Now we are talking about RPAs or whereby these transactions etc. are also not being done by humans in the system. Rather robotic process automations are happening. So I think we have already evolved from that stage. So it is not only थोड़ा सा सवाल जो है वो शायद अभी भी बहुत बेसिक उसका है. I think we have to step out of that zone now and think beyond.
And moving on, Asad, if you want to comment, this is a frequently asked question. So Zain Ahmed Siddiqui पूछ रहे हैं कि what are the opinion of panelists on the redundancy of the mainstream accountant? So since there is a general trend in more first world countries that core accountant is going to be redundant. So your views in this digital age and all this AI robotics के अंदर.
Yeah, thank you. Before I answer this question a bit on SAP and Oracle, उस पर मैं सिर्फ एक comment ही करना चाहूँगा. It depends upon your role. अगर आपका role ऐसा है जिसके अंदर information systems या finance systems की learning is important, then you can train yourself. बहुत सारे इसके अंदर opportunities है training की, और different platforms opportunity देते हैं. अगर आपका रोल नहीं है और सिर्फ एज ए यूजर है, तो हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन खुद ही जो है ना, वो अपने यूजर्स को, अपने एम्प्लॉयज को ट्रेन कर देती है जो बेसिक यूजेज है. और ये सिस्टम्स अब इतने, इनकी जो फ्रंट एंड इंटरफेसेस हैं वो इतने यूजर फ्रेंडली हो गए हैं कि अगर आप मिड लेवल इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, इफ यू नो एक्सेल और एक्सेस, तो यू कैन इजीली navigate in these systems. You don't need to be an expert unless your role determines it to be. So if you're at the back end of developing that systems, probably your knowledge of these systems is more important from a technical side. अगर आपका रोल नहीं है और आपका रोल एज ए यूजर है, तो लाइट ट्रेनिंग which the organizations also give is adequate enough. So moving on to the question of redundancies of a core accountant. So uh, one important thing to also note is again the glass ceiling, कि जी क्या हमें अकाउंटेंट ही वर्क में रहना है और हमें बुक कीपिंग ही करनी है, या हमें जो है वो वैल्यू एडिशन करनी है और फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट्स, स्ट्रेटजी ड्राइवर्स, बिजनेस पार्टनर्स के लेवल पे जाना है. सो इफ यू sell yourself as a business partner, and as long as there is business, you'll always be considered. So there may be a shift in the overall job market. Maybe core accountants की jobs reduce हो रही हैं या redundant हो रही हैं, but at the same time there are economies or there are other countries which open up for the opportunities, and through online platforms it also helps in delivering that. So एक organization को reduce करी तो कोई और organization hire करी. And there's also a shift in employability. So if you followed the events in the international stock market, जिस तरीके से IT based companies ने grow किया है, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड सस्टेनेबिलिटी बेस्ड कंपनीज दोनों ने ग्रो किया है ओवर द लास्ट 1 or 2 years. It is exponential, and there are new fintechs coming up across the world. And तो कोर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ट्रेडिशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, वो भी अपने आप को रिवैम्प कर रही है, और नई ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एंड कंपनीज भी दे आर आल्सो कमिंग अप. सो दे आर आल्सो क्रिएटिंग अ जॉब मार्केट. सो अगर एक ट्रेडिशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से जॉब जा रही है, तो दूसरी तरीके की ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो कि उन्हीं स्किल सेट के लोगों को फौरन हायर कर रही है, क्योंकि दे नीड to deliver quickly on that because of their business model. So one should not limit himself or herself to the fact कि मेरा core accountancy job अगर redundant हो गया है एक सेक्टर के अंदर, तो वो उसकी जगह पे मैं कहीं और एम्प्लॉय नहीं हो सकता. इट इज in fact, it is an opportunity for you to expand your horizon and look into other areas. I personally believe कि अगर redundancies भी हैं, तो this is all a temporary phase, and inshallah with the hope and optimism that is there, it will phase out and you will see a boom in employment coming in the future, maybe from the non-core organizations and different types of corporates that would be coming up, especially in the IT and sustainability side. Thank you.
Sajid, would you like to comment on that? Because we usually discuss this internally as well.
Shahid, I think redundancy is one of a phenomena, and I think that's why the word which I used is staying relevant. रिडंडेंसी का कॉन्सेप्ट हमेशा तब आता है, जनरली तब आता है, जब आप एक ऐसे सिनेरियो में एंटर होते हैं जब आप रेलेवेंट नहीं रहते, अनलेस अंटिल वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जिसको बहुत मजबूरी में ऐसे लोगों को दे हैव टू लेट गो व्हिच मे बी वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर देम. सो रेलेवेंट रहना एंड कीप प्रोग्रेसिंग एंड स्टेइंग अहेड, थिंकिंग अहेड, जो हमने अभी बात की थी कि कीप थिंकिंग अहेड, लाइफ और बिजनेसेस बहुत ज्यादा चेंज हो रहे हैं. अगर आपने रेलेवेंट रहना है तो यू हैव टू लिटरली स्टे अहेड ऑफ द कर्व. अगर आप कर्व से बहुत पीछे रह जाएंगे तो शायद उसमें कैचअप के लिए जो एफर्ट और एनर्जी चाहिए होती है वो बहुत ज्यादा होती है. नॉट एवरीबडी कैन ब्रिंग इट. दैट्स व्हाई जब हमने बात की थी स्मॉल चेंज इन द हैबिट एंड रूटीन ऑन एवरीडे बेसिस टू स्टे रेलेवेंट. अगर आज आप एक काम कर रहे हैं, बिलीव मी, आज से 12 महीने 18 महीने के बाद वो काम बिल्कुल रेलेवेंट नहीं होगा, या वहां पे कोई ना कोई टेक्नोलॉजी आ जाएगी. एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग कन्वर्सेशन थी हमारी आई थिंक इस्लामाबाद में, जहां पे वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट द बिजनेस मॉडल्स एंड द 5 years बिजनेस मॉडल्स और उसको फोरकास्टिंग एंड ऑल दैट, एंड द गाइस केम बैक, उन्होंने कहा जहां पे बिजनेस मॉडल ही आपका 12 महीने में चेंज हो जाता है तो 5 साल का बिजनेस प्लान बनाने का फायदा नहीं होता. सो यू हैव टू गो मोर ऑन डिजाइन थिंकिंग लेवल. यू शुड हैव अ सर्टेन एस्पिरेशन फॉर द फ्यूचर, बट यू हैव टू हैव दैट फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी, जैसे बार बार बात हो रही थी कि आप उसको एडजस्ट करते जाएं. यही चीज आपको अपने पर्सनल कैरियर में भी करनी है. वो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी और वो इंफॉर्मेशन आपके पास होनी चाहिए जो आपको which can keep you relevant and keep you ahead of the curve.
Great, thank you very much, Sajid. आपने ना इसी क्वेश्चन में एक और क्वेश्चन का भी आंसर दे दिया, जिसमें कंफर्ट जोन्स के बारे में वो पूछ रहे थे हमारे मेंबर के, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दैट. सो व्हिच मींस वी नीड टू स्टे रेलेवेंट. और in the conclusion, I must say during my professional career as well, I interact with so many CEOs, CFOs and C-suite professionals. और एक चीज जो कि मैंने उनसे लर्न की कि वो क्या डिस्टिंक्टिव कैरेक्टरिस्टिक होता है जो कि एक सेम क्वालिफिकेशन होल्डर को किसी दूसरे से डिफरेंट कर देता है. सो यू विल फाइंड सो मेनी अकाउंटेंट्स बट वेरी फ्यू विल बिकम चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव्स. व्हाई? यू विल फाइंड so many other professionals जो कि एक ही qualification background से हैं, but they become they reach the top of their career ladder. Why? So वो जो एक distinctive characteristic मुझे in C-suite से मिला वो है their research. So the amount of time they invest in research, and at the same time how they stay relevant, evolve themselves as a professional and help others to grow as well. So there are so many questions from our members. I know I'm looking, we have time constraints as well, but we have another important session जिसमें Haroon Saab will be sharing the overview of the 7-digit program, and we will, as promised, answer all those questions जो कि भी बचे हैं at the end of the session as well. But before that, let me hand it over back to ACCA with a big thank you to all the panelists, especially our guest speakers, Asad and Mavish. Thank you very much for taking time out and giving all of us opportunity to hear from you. Thank you very much. Over to you, Aksa.
Thank you so much, Shahid, and thank you so much for taking so many of our members' key questions. It is always great to have some very renowned people who have experienced things in the industry, जो कि अपनी insights share कर सकते हैं. So thank you so much for taking insights from Mevish and Asad as well. Harun Ahmadjan, our Regional Head of Member Affairs, is also here with us today, and we would like to hear his thoughts on the program as well. So over to you, Harun.
Thank you very much. I hope all of you can see my screen. Yes, no?
Yes, Harun, we can.
Okay, great. So let me very quickly jump onto the topic, but before that, I'll say a big thank you to Mehvesh and to Asad, Sajid, Shahid. I mean, Asad and Mehvesh, they're actually sitting at their workplace. They've stayed back because of this session, because of the opportunity to talk to you. So a big thank you. Thank you very much for sharing some very valuable experiences. While this discussion was going on, I got a quick chance to take a glimpse of what's happening on Facebook, and I saw our student Zara Naeem interviewed by BBC Urdu. My feeling at this point is, and at the same time I was looking at Asad and I was looking at Mehvesh, these are our superstars, these are our finished products, and I hope, I mean, the world has already recognized the contribution that these members are making in their organizations. I'll very quickly jump onto the 7 Digits program. But I'll build up the entire story. So, about a year and a half back, Sajid, myself, a team of officials from ACCA was sitting, and the topic of the discussion was some of our members feel they're not being able to achieve their maximum earning potential, their earnings are not as good, etc. And the topic of the discussion was how to create a nuclear reaction, a chain reaction of giving our members the confidence to go on, and number one, focus on value delivery, and number two, claim their fair share. When they're talking about the earning potential. So it started off with a pilot program. Remember the three terms that Sajid shared with you: start small, scale quickly. So we started with about 32 individuals only as a pilot. Started in Lahore. 16 of those 32 finally passed out. I mean, the rigor of the program was such that every evening they had to come to the ACCA office physically, sit down till about 10 o'clock over there, and do a lot of activities, a lot of engagement, discussions, case studies, presentations, whatnot. 16 graduated. The outcome of that activity was that within less than 2.5 months of the completion of the program, we were keeping a check on each and every individual. They all exceeded the 6 digits figure. So very quickly, I mean, look at the this lineup of our members, with Helen Brand congratulating them, joined us from UK to listen to what the success these members have achieved. Straight away, since the pilot was successful, we straight away thought that what's next? So thinking about scaling it up, thinking about including more members to benefit from this. So we had three things in mind. Number one, have another 6 digits program, season 2, right? And a 7 digits program. But at the same time, talking about the rigor of the program, talking about, public speaking skills, presentation skills, gap analysis, relating all this to the ACCA competency framework. I sometimes find some comments made by members a little strange when they say ACCA should include a subject on presentation skills in the qualification. Or somebody saying ACCA should include uh, um, a program on QuickBooks or another accounting software, Peachtree, etc., into the qualification. I'm sure by now you would have been convinced that these are skills which are learned, not, not, I mean, they cannot be taught very well. They can be learned very, very easily. Number one. Number two, these essential ingredients are already there in the qualification. They are already there in the practical experience requirement, right? They're already there when you're talking about CPD. They're already there with, doing a lot of activities. That's how you learn them practically. That's exactly why ACCA is not a taught academic qualification. It is a professional qualification, right? A lot of experiential learning into the qualification as well. So very quickly talk a bit about our Six Digit Season 2 also, and how did that program go. So straight away, jumping from the success of our Six Digits pilot program, by the way, some comments, some interesting, exciting comments from our earlier graduates of the pilot program on the screen. You can go on and read them while I talk about the Season 2. Um, for Season 2, by that time, the success of the initial pilot program had already reached, the entire network all across ACCA. So what we did was that we opened the program up for affiliates and students as well. Again, think about scaling very, very quickly. So we wanted all the students and affiliates and members to benefit from from this mindset change that we were talking about. Some statistics. So 100 hours of content delivery. This time the challenge was with Season 2, since it was July 2020, and that was the time when the pandemic was peaking as well, we converted the entire thing to an online delivery. So would you want to know how it used to happen? Again, every evening, um, students, members would come in. They were divided into separate groups. They would come in for their moderated sessions. They would have activities lined up for Saturdays and Sundays. So throughout the week, they were so busy, they were so tied up. I remember the days when we used to sit on our in front of our laptops and computers till about 10 o'clock in the night. Excellent discussions. Sajid had to share some very, very exciting videos about Shark Tank, about entrepreneurship, about launching a business idea. Such an action-packed program. Really, really interesting. What came out of this was that we started with 1, 2, 3, 4. It's actually an interesting number, but about 1,250 individuals who got interested started off, and very recently, which is like a few weeks ago, we've shared the completion certificates with roughly about 300 individuals who've passed, who've met the attendance requirement, about 75% of the sessions, and another 20% who have not been able to attend 70% class, 75% classes, but have participated for more than 50% of the sessions. So 100 hours of content delivery. There were again group work, team activities, etc. It was again an action-packed session, and the launch was done just like this one. The graduation ceremony is going to be held now with the new members ceremony, right? So while they've been sent certificates, there will be a separate section for recognizing the participants of Season 2 at the new members ceremony that will be held in Lahore, Karachi, and Islamabad, 9th, 10th, and 11th of March. Now, moving on to the contents of the 7-digit program. Okay, this is the skeleton, the competency, the ACCA competency framework is the backbone of all that we are trying to deliver to our members through the 6 digit and 7 digits program. Remember one thing, there's hardly anything that we are inventing or on our own and putting into this program. Hardly anything. It is mainly around the competencies that ACCA's competency framework is already laid out. Most of this discussion that we normally do was a part of the qualification when you were going through it, or is a part of the learning that you have been doing all along in all the years. It's just that we are making you people realize, or making you people implement it in the workplace, making you people understand it, making you people know where the digital transformation is taking the accountancy profession, making you people realize that you don't want to be a payable or receivable specialist. You don't want to do all those jobs which are at the brink of obsolescence. You have to think more about the competencies that have been given to you, have been imparted to you through the qualification. You have to think about those new career roles that are developing. You have to think yourself as a fit for one of those roles, rather than thinking about those antiquated roles that are not going to be with us anymore in the near future. So the competency framework, the top row talks about all the essentials, right? So and out of the second row, of course, the qualification has already delivered all these, but focusing more on digital data and digital and technology, focusing on that. And another particular topic of interest, and I was able to very quickly pick up on the conversation that Mevesh was doing, that alongside her treasury role and other roles, she worked for taxation as well, and that really added a profile in her resume. So so that's exactly the skeleton of the program. Now, Sajid has already talked about these career zones. Remember, what we are trying to achieve through this is, introduce to you what the new world is going to look like, what kind of career adaptation you are required to do, right? Revolutionizing, your learning skills, right? And transforming your skills. And at the heart of all this is sits the sustainable organization. So Sujit has already explained this diagram in quite some detail. I will not dwell too much on this. So straight away we'll jump on to. So remember these two things. Number one, I told you the competency framework, and number two, the career zones. Remember these. What we have now done is, that's for the 7-digit program. With this structure in place, we have plotted different elements that will help develop those or brush up those competencies. So for example, when talking about ethics and professional skills, we will be bringing in ACCA's ethics and professional skills module, which, as you may already know, is free of cost for all ACCA members, right? So you can very quickly, easily go back and and attend or undertake the ACCA's ethics and professional skills module. It is being evolved very, very quickly. Public speaking is an essential. So while Shahid was talking about those specific skills that differentiate between a person who is an accountant as well, but then goes on to become a chief in the organization, public speaking skills, extremely important. So, that's how it remains on the on the plan for our 7 digits program. I will not go through each one of them. They're in front of you. I'll just pick up some specific ones. Do not miss commercial acumen. It's extremely important. Shadow boards, I think it's an excellent idea bringing it in, right? Emotional quotients, making presentations to the board, role plays, stakeholder relationship management. Remember, we will not be teaching you presentation skills, but you will be making a lot of presentations and you will learn through that. So rather than teaching you how to make a good presentation, we give you we'll give the participants of this program some extraordinary tasks to achieve, yet making very impressive presentations. Leadership and management skills, so leadership styles. We will ask you to invite an industry leader and have a an interesting presentation session or a discussion session around a particular topic. We will go on to discuss strategy setting, decision making, which is what this entire the C level work is all around. Making informed decisions. And last but not the least, digital, there will be some elements around Power BI, some tools that we'll try to bring in as they are evolving digitally. But at the same time, business case development, how does that work? How do you put a sales pitch around your business case? How do you make a presentation on your business case? What is brand building, right? So talking about these essential elements as well. So all this in a content list view will look something like this. Okay, so like I said, these are all the topics. In the previous slide, you could see them related to the linked up to the ACCA's competency framework, but this is how it looks like in a list, in the content list. So the presentation will be available to you. You can continue to read them in depth afterwards. Very quickly about some modalities now. We have already received about 650 interests so far for this program. We are going to select 200 participants because we feel, because of the content, the way of delivering it, it is going to be effective with almost about 200 participants. This is only being offered to members who are earning 250,000 rupees plus, and the range is 2,50,000 going up to 9,99,000. The sessions will be on the weekends, 20 hours, 20 plus 20 hours of content delivery, which would be delivered through moderated and unmoderated sessions. It's going to be digital once again. Pandemic permitting, we might hold some physical sessions as well. There are going to be a lot of group work and team activities. And last but not the least, launch and graduation ceremonies, just like the previous sessions, they continue to happen. We are going to open the registrations up for another week. So, if today is the 16th of February, starting tomorrow, we will open up the registrations for another week. Just as the registrations are all in, I mean, they're already in. We have received over 200 requests already, but we will allow more members, particularly to participate, to take part in this. After that, we will take all that data back. We will analyze. We will check. Do a background check on how many members. We're looking at active members only, right? People who are not active on the ACCA register, we will have to excuse them. Uh, uh, we are also going to check whether these members in their existing role, what is the kind of work that they are doing, which organizations are they working in, which sectors, etc. To try to verify the salary claims as well. So having done all that, within a week's time, we will then finalize the list of participants and go on with the orientation session. So exactly 2 weeks from now, if we've agreed, we will hold an orientation session, and only from that point, we will kick off the 7 Digits program. The whole program will last about 2 months, right? So unlike the 6 Digits program, which lasted much longer, this program will last about 2 months, and 2 months of dedication, 2 months of activity, action-packed activity, participation, and the end result will be, we're trying to achieve 1 million a month mark. what will success look like? I will open the floor for any conversations. What do we want to achieve? Sajid is going to add any perspective to what will success look like for all of you. So that is what I wanted to share with you. We are all very excited. We are all very, uh, you know, committed to it. We are looking forward to this program starting off very quickly. We've already spent about 2.5 months planning, looking at this entire program, looking at the delivery, looking at the model. So we've done all that now, and now we're in a position to kick off the program. So that's all from my side. Happy to take any questions, any suggestions. So over to you, Aksa. I'm sorry I might have taken about 30, 40 minutes. 30
No
minutes?
worries. I think that happens when we're, just talking and talking, because there's so much to communicate about the program. It's such a great program, and usko condense karna in an hour and a half or anticipation वो build करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है. So I'm glad that you're taking your time. And plus we have a lot of feedback from our members who have joined today's session. There's a lot of positive comments that I keep seeing in the comment section. Shahid, would you like to identify some questions that we can take at this point?
Gee, thank you, Aksa. Harun Saab, while you were making your 30 minutes long presentation, there were so many praises for you in the chat box. So there are members who are part of 6 digit program as well, and they were thanking you because they've received their certificates, and some of them are, the wording are reaping the benefits of the 6 digit program as well. So I mean, first of all, thank you. We want to thank Sajid as well for initiating this, and majority of the questions you have covered already. So for example, members were asking, I mean, can we now register, because some of them might have missed the initial deadline, so they want to be part of this program. So you have briefed them already that yes, you will receive another email with an extended deadline of a week, and you can register yourself, send your expression of interest, participation criteria. This will also be written in detail in the invite. But yes, those who are currently working more than 2,50,000 rupees per month, they are eligible for this program to earn a million a month. Next steps, Harun Saab, you have already explained. So guys, if you have any quick questions for any of us, please write down. Otherwise, we'll request Sajid for the concluding remarks as well. Ji, over to you, Aksa. In the meanwhile, agar koi question aata hai, I'll jump in.
Okay, and Shahid, we are also taking questions in the comment section. उधर भी answer करें, so I think we can just go ahead and there is just one question as a session applicable for non-resident Pakistanis, and Harun, I believe that it is right, because it's a virtual session here.
Gee, active members is essential. We haven't announced the program outside of Pakistan yet, but if there is a Pakistani member who's working abroad and would like to join in, you'll be more than welcome. Again, scaling up the program, the desire is that we would expand this program to other countries like Sri Lanka in the Middle East and South Asia as well. I can see the smile on Sajid's face, looking at this particular response.
There's a very interesting question. What will be the cost for this program? I am an affiliate.
I saw that. I saw
Sajid, you can explain the cost. Okay.
Irfan, the cost is that you have to become a member, you have to reach to a certain level, and that's mean a lot of hard work you have to put there. We will be opening a 6-digit program for affiliates and students. It's just to provide them some early perspective. It's not meant for them. Even the 6-digit program is meant for the young members, like with a 1-year experience or a new member or less than 2-year experience. That's the something which we suggest, because it's required a certain prior experience to understand the conversation we will be building and the perspective we will be creating or challenging at that stage. So as an affiliate, you are more than welcome to join 6-digit program, but the 7-digit program is a 20-hour or 20 plus 20 hours content delivery, with the assumption that people know how to interact with the board, where they stand right now. C-level interaction unki काफी ज़्यादा होती है, and there is a certain persona which they have to develop, जैसे हमने program के opening में कहा था. But for students and affiliate, I think as a matter, we will keep that, although it become very challenging for us to really build those some of the perspective because of just because of the age and experience where they are right now. But I think it's give a at least आपको एक perspective मिल जाता है कि जब आप job market में जाएंगे as a member, तो what are the kind of skills or conversation you should be building. This program is free of cost. ACCA Pakistan, whatever program we run it free of cost. It's part of the CPD, so you can claim your CPDs around it as well. And again, the question, people from the other countries, as long as you receive an email for invite, and that's only possible if your residential address is Pakistan. Only the people with the residential address from Pakistan are getting an email, so you can come and join that. Otherwise, drop a line very specifically to Harun, or I think we can drop a email address there. So let's see what we can do. But definitely Bangladesh has got its own program, and you can join their program. And similarly, somebody who's working outside Pakistan, there are many programs which are offered by that particular country, which is based and tailored based on their economy, their requirements. So not necessarily what we are doing in Pakistan is suitable for people who are working outside, unless until you find a value. You are more than welcome. But otherwise, आपके country में ये इस तरह के बहुत सी चीजें और initiatives हो रहे होते हैं. Just on a last note, I know that there are a lot of people who have a different experience during the journey, and that's the beauty. That's basically bring that diversity. Or when we will be looking at the group of those 200 people, like Harun mentioned, out of those 650, we will be bringing a lot of diversity in helping each other to build those perspective. Or diversity requires the second part, respect. मेरा perspective different हो सकता है आपके perspective से, but it doesn't mean that you are right or I'm wrong or otherwise. So perspective is always shared to help you see a different dimension. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing with something, but the perspectives are the one which help us to really broaden our horizon and see different things from a different angle. और वो बहुत ज्यादा helpful होता है. कुछ questions definitely हम बात कर रहे होंगे, और मैं इसमें भी आपको दोबारा वो सवाल भी दूंगा कुछ, कि जो सवाल हमारे पास होता है what else, that's always help us to open up the option. What else एक ऐसा सवाल है जो कि art of possibility create करता है. अगर आप अपने आप से ये सवाल करना शुरू करते हैं what else, you will and go as wild in terms of the opportunity analysis, you will find a lot of new possibilities. So हम इस पूरे प्रोग्राम में, जिस तरह पहले भी हमने 6 digits पे भी किया था, तो हमारा एक बहुत बड़ा सेगमेंट जो होगा, it was challenging the existing mindset, developing the perspective around the future opportunities, creating a roadmap how we can get there, और जो हमारे पास resources available हैं और जो globally resources available हैं in ACCA, outside ACCA, how we can use and make that one small change regularly, consistently, to really stay relevant and stay ahead of the curve. So in सारे programs का ultimate objective ये होता है कि you should think ahead and start making those small steps, taking those small steps, and then scale it to the level कि आप वो value drive कर सकें अपने लिए, the people around you, for your client and for your employer. So I think इस पूरे program का जो objective है, it's to create or improve your earning potential, build those skills, and help you to stay relevant and ahead of the curve. So इस चीज को जहन में रख के आइएगा, ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रहिएगा. बहुत से पेसिमिस्टिक सिनेरियो तो बहुत ही आसान होता है ना, मतलब ये कहना कि पाकिस्तान कभी तरक्की नहीं कर सकता, ये बहुत आसान है. पाकिस्तान कैसे तरक्की कर सकता है, that's a question we will be trying to solve, not the one कि क्यों नहीं कर सकता और क्या हो सकता है with all that constraints. वो हमारे लिए एक चैलेंजिंग क्वेश्चन होता है, और वो क्वेश्चन हमें पर्सपेक्टिव डेवलप करने में हेल्प करता है. So on the end note, I definitely thank you everybody. Apologies, we are running over time, but believe me, जब भी हम इस तरह की कन्वर्सेशन शुरू करते हैं, तो हमारे पास जिस तरह के सवाल आ रहे होते हैं, जो एंगेजमेंट होती है, उसमें I think it's worth कि हम टाइम थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा स्पेंड कर लें and try to clarify as much as we can during those sessions. So thank you very much. Thank you, ACCA. Over to you.
Thank you, Sajid, Harun, and Shahid, and Asad and Mevish have left us, but Thank you Shazam as well for joining today's session. और हमारे सारे members जिन्होंने आज के session को join किया, thank you so much for attending, and you will thank yourself in the future for attending this session particularly, as well as all of the 7-digit program sessions. So thank you so much. Stay connected. किसी और member को आप recommend करना चाहते हैं इस वक्त कि वो भी साइन अप करें फॉर द 7 डिजिट प्रोग्राम, तो लाजमी रेकमेंड करें. दिस इज ए नेटवर्क, और इसी तरह से हमारी कम्युनिकेशन चलती है कि एक बंदा दूसरे बंदे को बताए एंड whoever can benefit from it उस तक की बात पहुंच जाए. So thank you so much for being a part of this network. Stay connected and have a good rest of the evening. Allah Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.